Good morning. Here's the news at 10. First, the highlights. Governor Sanwo-Olu to host captains of industry at 9th Lagos Corporate Assembly. Federal government moves to reduce supply to border towns amid fuel smuggling probe. On the foreign scene, France faces political deadlock as Left Alliance defeats far right with no majority. And in sport, Amusho Brume top team Nigeria's 35 athletes track and field list ahead 2024 Olympic Games. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is set to meet leaders of the organized private sector as the 9th edition of the Lagos Corporate Assembly, a periodic engagement session tagged BOS Meets with Business Community, comes up on Tuesday, July 9, 2024. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, in a statement said the governor will discuss business-related issues such as infrastructure development, business regulations, MSME challenges, taxes, revenue, security, transportation, traffic management, and technology. Omotosho said the event with the theme Unpacking Barriers to Ease of Doing Business, Accelerating Business Growth, will have members of the Lagos State Executive Council, permanent secretaries, and heads of relevant departments and agencies of government in attendance. He said speakers for the event include the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business and Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, Jumoke Oduwole, Director General, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Mojisola Adeyeye, the Director General, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Ifeanyi Okeke, and others. Omotosho said previous editions have recorded significant achievements such as granting water licensing concessions to the organized private sector, including a 5-year arrears waiver and a 75% permit waiver by the state government. Speaking on the importance of the event, the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative, Trade and Investment, Folashade Ambrose Midibem, said this edition of the Corporate Assembly is a fulfillment of the promise made by Governor Sanwo-Olu at the last edition to dedicate the upcoming periodic assembly to unpacking the challenges organizations doing business in Lagos encounter with sovereign institutions of the federal government. The Lagos State government, in collaboration with UNICEF, is set to launch a team of community mobilizers across the 376 wards to sensitize Lagosians on cholera, thereby eliminating its spread among the populace. Social and Behavior Change Specialist, UNICEF Lagos Office, Aderonke Akinwole, revealed this in an interview with our health correspondent, Adirayo Idowolaya, saying that the training of mobilizers would commence on Tuesday. Akinwole said with the commencement of the Training of Trainers initiative, 1,128 community mobilizers would be armed with necessary information on preventive measures.
So together, let's take responsibility in curbing the spread, in preventing the outbreak, and in preventing deaths that can occur from cholera. If you can take care of your hygiene, be your neighbor's keeper. And if you see something, say something. If you see your neighbor that is actually defecating in open, try to speak to the person. If the person is not listening, try to call on the government to actually reprimand such persons. And we also call on government to make sure that policies that foster environmental safety truly enforced in Lagos.
Akinwole commended the efforts of the Lagos State government in curbing the outbreak of cholera while also pledging continuous support of UNICEF to amplify government efforts in curtailing the spread of the disease. It's a recalled that the Lagos State Primary Health Care Board, LSPCB, with support from UNICEF, recently held a Train the Trainer sensitization program on cholera social mobilization outbreak response to combat its spread in various communities across the state. The Lagos State government has reiterated that all its enforcement actions regarding the sanctity of state environmental laws were informed by the interests of the greater majority of residents. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, stated this during a conversation with the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, Lagos State Chapter. According to the Commissioner, most of the enforcement actions were preemptive and they accounted for the almost zero fatalities that would have been experienced around the state with the magnitude of rainfall it experienced. Wahab charged the estate surveyors to always engage in due diligence for all construction they want to embark upon or supervise by ensuring that drainage clearance permit is obtained for all structures located near drainage channels. He reiterated that the state government is investing in resilient infrastructure that ensures that the state can contain runoff of heavy rainfalls, which ensures that flood water subsides a few hours after the rainfall. The federal government has confirmed its activation of various emergency centers across the country to help in tackling the flood situation in states. It also urged residents living in flood-prone locations to move away from floodplains, stressing that responses from citizens in some of the affected states had been below expectation. The government made this known through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, as some state governments announced the commencement of river dredging in their domains, while others ordered residents in flood-prone areas to evacuate. Meanwhile, NEMA has again stated that it had written letters to governors earlier on the impending floods, stressing that it was time for everyone to work together to tackle the challenge. It will be recalled that the federal government said no fewer than 10 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, had either experienced various degrees of flooding or recorded casualties as rains intensified. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Usev, who dropped the red alert during a press briefing in Abuja, warned that 21 more states might suffer flooding. Now to the rest of the stories. As part of measures to stop the smuggling of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, from Nigeria to neighboring countries, the federal government has detained 5 fuel tankers and sealed 3 filling stations in border towns. The continued anti-smuggling operations of the federal government through the Nigeria Customs Service had also made fuel supply to various border communities decrease from 32 million litres daily to about 25 million within 2 months. National Public Relations Officer, Nigeria Customs Service, Abdullahi Mewada, said the detained fuel tankers and sealed filling stations have been handed over to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority for further investigations. Mewada also denied claims that about 1,800 filling stations in the north had been shut down in protest against the continued anti-smuggling operations of the Customs Service. Also, Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Mele Kyari, confirmed the reduction in the evacuation of PMS to border states when he met with the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, on the matter. He noted that both parties pledged to strengthen collaboration in sustaining the onslaught against cross-border smuggling to attain Nigeria's energy security. In its commitment to help ease the burden brought about by the current economic situation of the country, Eco Club International has distributed food palliatives to over 1,000 residents in different communities in Lagos State. Eco Club International stated that it is part of its mission to give back to the society while distributing rice, semo, spaghetti, salt, gari to the people of Akba Kingdom, Igwawori area of the Badagry division of Lagos State. The initiative, which is organized for beneficiaries in Festac, Badagry, Isolo, Itire, Shasha, and Ikorodu, will last for 1 week. Alakba of Akba, Igwawori Kingdom, Oba Oyekon Adekomi Ajose, commended the club for the initiative and prayed for every member's upliftment. Assistant General Secretary, Eco Club International, Tayo Oguyemi, said the club consists of 26 chapters in US, Canada, and London. He said the gesture is part of the club's mission to give back to the society by reaching out to the rural communities in Lagos State. Now to foreign news. A loose alliance of left-wing parties has won the most seats in France's high-stakes legislative elections, beating both the far-right and President Emmanuel Macron's centrist coalition. No one group won an absolute majority in the 577-seat National Assembly in Sunday's runoff vote, plunging France into political limbo with no clear path to forming a new government. This comes 2 days before a major NATO summit and 3 weeks before the Paris Olympic Games. The new Popular Front formed last month after Macron called the snap elections brought together the previously deeply divided socialists, Greens, communists, and the hard-left France unbowed together in one camp. The left-wing group took 177 seats, with Macron's ensemble winning 148 seats and Marine Le Pen's National Rally taking 142 seats. The election campaign, the shortest in French history, was marked by threats and violence, including racist abuse against dozens of candidates and canvassers. Now, sports. Toby Amushon, Esther Brume, and Chukwuebuka Enekwechi top the roster of the 35 athletes that will represent Nigeria in the track and field event at the forthcoming Paris 2024 Olympics, scheduled to get underway from July 26 until August 11. According to a press release signed by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN's technical director, Samuel Onikeku, the list consists of 18 females and 17 male athletes. Nigeria track and field athletes will compete in the 100 meters for men and women, as well as in 200 meters, 100 meters hurdles, high jump, long jump, 400 meters, 800 meters, shot put, discus, hammer throw, javelin, 4 of the 5 relays, among others, in the 2024 Paris Games. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, carry out proper and adequate checks on your vehicles before setting out. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 61,000 units of single-door composite furniture for secondary schools? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is set to meet leaders of the organized private sector as the 9th edition of the Lagos Corporate Assembly, a periodic engagement session tagged BOS Meets with Business Community, comes up on Tuesday, July 9, 2024. As part of measures to stop the smuggling of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, from Nigeria to neighboring countries, the federal government has detained 5 fuel tankers and sealed 3 filling stations in border towns. We also told you that a loose alliance of left-wing parties has won the most seats in France's high-stakes legislative elections, beating both the far-right and President Emmanuel Macron's centrist coalition. And in sport, Toby Amushon, Esther Brume, and Chukwuebuka Enekwechi topped the roster of the 35 athletes that will represent Nigeria in the track and field event at the forthcoming Paris 2024 Olympics, scheduled to get underway from July 26 until August 11. For contact at the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And as news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fabalago, I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.